The year was 1920. America, fresh out of the Roaring Twenties, was about to embark on a social experiment unlike any other prohibition. This nationwide ban on the production, sale, and transportation of alcohol, enacted through the 18th Amendment, was the culmination of decades of campaigning by temperance movements. These groups, spearheaded by organizations like the Women's Christian Temperance Union and the Anti-Saloon League, believed that alcohol was the root of many societal ills. Domestic abuse, poverty, and crime were just a few of the problems they attributed to the overconsumption of liquor. The temperance movement argued that a dry America would be a more moral, productive, and prosperous nation. Their message resonated with many Americans, particularly in rural areas where traditional values held sway. The call for a sober nation grew louder, fueled by religious fervor and a genuine desire to improve American society. The stage was set for a grand social experiment, one that would test the very fabric of American society. The 18th Amendment, passed in 1919, prohibited the manufacture, sale, or transportation of intoxicating liquors. This sweeping measure, unprecedented in its scope, aimed to eradicate alcohol consumption from American life. Little did the proponents of Prohibition know that their noble experiment would have far-reaching and often unintended consequences, forever altering the course of American history. At the heart of the Prohibition movement were women, their voices strong and unwavering in their quest for a sober nation. They saw firsthand the devastating effects of alcohol abuse on their families and communities. The Women's Christian Temperance Union, a formidable force in the temperance movement, rallied women across the nation to fight for the cause. These women, often clad in white, symbolized purity and morality, a stark contrast to the perceived evils of alcohol. They marched, they protested, and they lobbied tirelessly, their voices echoing through the halls of power. Figures like Carrie Nation, a fiery orator known for smashing up saloons with her hatchet, became both celebrated and controversial figures in the fight against alcohol. They believed that prohibition would empower women by reducing domestic violence and improving the overall quality of life for families. Many women also saw it as a victory in their long struggle for suffrage, a sign that their voices were finally being heard on matters of social importance. Theirs was a fight for a better world, a world free from the grip of alcohol, a world where their children could grow up safe and healthy. Their dedication and sacrifice played a pivotal role in swaying public opinion and ultimately bringing about the national ban on alcohol. Paradoxically, the very act of outlawing alcohol seemed to amplify its allure. The clandestine world of speakeasies, hidden bars where patrons could indulge in illicit liquor, sprung up in cities and towns across America. These often glamorous establishments, shrouded in secrecy and guarded by watchful bouncers, became symbols of the Roaring Twenties, a time of rebellion and defiance in the face of social constraints. Jazz music filled the air, flapper dresses twirled on the dance floor, and the clinking of glasses filled with illegal booze became the soundtrack of a generation. Behind the velvet curtains and secret passwords, a new breed of entrepreneur emerged, the bootlegger. These daring individuals risked their freedom and safety to quench the nation's thirst for liquor. They smuggled whiskey from Canada, rum from the Caribbean, and gin from hidden distilleries across the country. The ingenuity and audacity of these bootleggers became legendary, their exploits whispered in hushed tones and immortalized in popular culture. The streets were alive with the thrill of the chase, a high-stakes game of cat and mouse between law enforcement and those determined to keep the liquor flowing. The black market thrived, fueled by the insatiable demand for alcohol and the vast profits to be made. Section 4. The Rise of the Mob when the Shadows Held Sway. The most unintended and perhaps the most significant consequence of Prohibition was the rise of organized crime. With the enormous profits to be made in the illegal liquor trade, Criminal gangs seized the opportunity to build vast and powerful empires. Names like Al Capone, Lucky Luciano, and Bugsy Siegel became synonymous with this era, their ruthlessness and business acumen turning them into underworld legends. Capone's Chicago outfit, notorious for its violence and corruption, controlled a vast network of speakeasies, brothels, and gambling dens. Luciano, a cunning strategist, recognized the potential for uniting the disparate criminal gangs under one umbrella. His vision led to the formation of the National Crime Syndicate, a powerful alliance that would shape the landscape of organized crime for decades to come. These mobsters, often depicted in pinstripe suits and fedora hats, became both feared and admired figures. They represented the dark underbelly of the American dream, where wealth and power were acquired not through hard work and determination, but through violence, intimidation, and corruption. The streets ran red with the blood of gangsters and lawmen alike, caught in a deadly game of power and control.